This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that. I saw that in the first term. When we became more and more successful, people started coming together. Success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it. Because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This morning, Donald Trump has secured a second presidential term. Moments ago, NBC News projected he won the state of Wisconsin, giving him the electoral votes needed for victory. He's also leading the popular vote as well. It is the third battleground state he flipped after winning Georgia and Pennsylvania. The races in Arizona, Michigan, and Nevada are still too close to call. Vice President Kamala Harris has not yet made a statement about the race. The crowd at her Howard University watch party was asked to go home shortly before 1 a.m. Cedric Richmond, who is a co-chair of the Harris-Walz campaign, told attendees the vice president would not speak until later today. A lot to go through, a lot of questions this morning. Joe, we'll start with your take.
Well, I mean, so much to go through, so many questions. I came onto the set and Willie said, hey, by the way, because we were talking about the historic nature of this sweep.
Yeah.
And Willie said, do you know, he only lost Illinois by 4 points.
4 points in
New Jersey by 5. I mean, you talk about we had talked about a red wave 2 years ago that never materialized. This is I've got to say, this is the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49 state victory in 1984. It seems every Republican across the country improved.
Donald Trump is on track to sweep the 7 battleground states. We still have 3 outstanding. We'll see how those go. But he did better almost everywhere. In every county where the hope from the Harris campaign was that she would make up ground on Joe Biden's suburbs, Donald Trump actually did better. We'll break down some of these numbers, but the gender gap was not nearly as wide as the Harris campaign needed to be, and Latino men came out in force for Donald Trump.
Boy, what a huge difference that made. And, you know, that was really just part of the stunning outcome. I mean, America, first of all, is far more to the right than any time in our lifetimes, even going back to the Reagan years. And Donald Trump won in dominating fashion. but he did that along with other Republican candidates in the Senate races and the House races. They're likely to dominate all branches of government for the next several years. And Donald Trump not only broke out through that sort of hard ceiling of 47-48%. Think about this. He became only the second Republican to win a majority of the popular vote since 1988 in 36 years. And he did so after a week of polls, most notably Ann Seltzer's revered Des Moines Register poll showed Harris making remarkable inroads among the type of voters who would swing the margin for Harris in the blue wall states. The opposite actually ended up being true. Donald Trump won in a rout across Big Ten country, taking Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin without a serious fight. And now, with expectations rising in the Harris camp in the final days of the campaign in a historic ground game, when you look at the depth of it and the reach of it, this race still ended up being over before it began. And Jonathan Lemire, I mean, it is, again, the scope and scale of this victory is sweeping. And we can focus, by the way, we can focus on Donald Trump if we would like. But this goes so far beyond Donald Trump. Make no mistake, his victory, again, historic. But you look at Republicans across the nation. You look at how handily they're winning states. As Willie said, you look at Illinois, a 4-point margin. Illinois, a 5-point margin in New Jersey. This is a Democratic Party that has been just wiped out this morning.
Yeah, Republicans steamrolled. They have captured the Senate. The House still up for grabs, but those close to Speaker Johnson think the Republicans are on track to have that as well, potentially handing Donald Trump a unified Republican Washington, D.C. when he takes office. It was stunning. We thought this election could take days to be counted. It was over late last night, early this morning now with the official call. You mentioned the Iowa poll that so many Democrats had hung so much hope on in recent days that had Harris up 3 points. Right now, the margin for Trump in Iowa is about 14 or 15 points. This is a 16 or 17 point miss.
Unbelievable.
A 16 or 17 point miss there. There was not this surge of voters breaking late to Harris as it turned. And for Donald Trump, it must be said, this is a president. He was impeached twice. He botched the handling of the pandemic. He faced 4 criminal cases. He inspired January 6th, and he won anyway. And now he will return to office with few guardrails internally, encouragement from Moscow and other foreign adversaries, and a Supreme Court that has said that his power is largely unchecked.
Well, I've got to say, historians will look back at those trials over the past summer, John Heilman, where he was sitting in there, and it certainly fed into his victimhood. And that will be seen. Those trials where he's sitting in court all day will be seen as an as-kind contribution for Donald Trump, because there is no doubt those trials this summer were a defining moment in this campaign.
And defining not in the way that obviously a lot of opponents of Donald Trump hope they would be. There will still be, I think historians will be grappling with a lot of questions going forward, including the question of how someone who is a convicted, first ever convicted criminal convictions against a former president could win in this fashion. And I think, we've all sat here and talked about the extraordinarily, for a lot of people, extraordinarily offensive performance of Donald Trump in these last 2 weeks. The things that he did and said seemed like he was, we literally just sitting here the last few days ago. I'm like, how can this man, the way he's performing in the closing days of this campaign, how can this guy get elected? He seems like he doesn't want to get elected. The things performing, miming oral sex on a microphone stand, and all the rest of it. The enemy within, the various things that provoked John Kelly to come out and say the things he said. All of that stuff, in the end, didn't matter. And I think one of the things that didn't matter enough to keep him from performing better in this election than he has performed in any of the prior ones. That will be a question for psychologists, sociologists, historians, political scientists for a long time. Because I think for a lot of people in the country, it is unthinkable that Donald Trump, this could be the one that he could improve his performance from the past. But he did. And I think the other question we now are going to be grappling with that's quite clear is we have had consistent polling that has had this race effectively a tie. I'm looking here at the polling, the end polling averages, where Donald Trump in a lot of these states was at 47, 48, consistent with the notion that he had this ceiling. That he had never been above 47% before.
Right.
It looks like there's going to be in these battleground states about a 3-point polling miss in aggregate again, as there was a 4-point polling miss in aggregate in 2020, and there was a 3.5-point polling miss in 2016. The polling industry right now, public and private, has now in 3 successive elections missed Donald Trump's support in America by substantial numbers. And I will say, finally, the thing that you heard from people in the Harris campaign in the battleground states, particularly in those blue wall states, was if the numbers are right, meaning the numbers we were seeing in public and their own numbers. If those numbers were right, it's really a tie, they would say.
Yep.
We think our ground game will help us win. It turned out those numbers were in fact wrong. And there were people who said all along, hey, we could be looking at another 2020 and 2016 in which Trump's support is understated. And if that's the case, he could win all of these states by 2 or 3 points. And that is in fact what's happening.
This was the third
what's
time.
happened?
This was
3 times in a row.
This was the third time in a row, as you said, that Donald Trump's support was understated, especially in the upper Midwest states.
Right.
They just not working. But Mika, again, you go through it. You look at the final weeks of the campaign. It was not only the public polling, which most campaigns dismiss, but it was actually the polling inside the Harris camp.
Right.
They the last week were growing more confident because the numbers that they were seeing. The only people who had polls that ended up being right from the beginning were the Trump people. Remember, we kept saying they just had this
solid
confidence. They were overconfident. Their numbers weren't matching the private numbers of Harris. They weren't matching the public numbers. They had the right numbers all along because they were saying we're getting more votes from Hispanic men. We're getting more votes from black men. We are going to do better. And they were never internally, they were never worried. I think until the Ann Seltzer poll came out, and then they said, could we be that wrong? And it ended up, they were not that wrong.
Yeah.